Music is one of the most important elements in a game. Since the early chirps and beeps from the Atari 2600, it has come a long way. But what are the best 8-bit tunes? Hey Shackers, Greg here, and today I'll be counting down the top 10 best NES soundtracks. Now, we're not talking about most memorable tunes. Sure, the work in Super Mario Bros. Is well known and recognized, but we're looking for soundtracks that push the boundaries of what the NES could do. Of course, nostalgia will be a factor, but the overall idea is best soundtracks, not most recognizable. We're also only looking at this from a pure music standpoint, meaning gameplay isn't affecting the score in any way. Votes were also tallied from our staff, community, and Twitter. So let's blow into our good old Nintendo cartridges and get ready to see what the NES was truly capable of, music-wise. These are the top 10 best NES soundtracks. While known for being the black sheep of the Zelda franchise, so okay, well it's still better than others.
Gee, it sure is boring around here.
However, it had a wide array of new themes and songs, most of which we wouldn't hear in any other Zelda game ever again. It took risk and tried to be different, not only in terms of gameplay, but for the music as well. The title, battle, and dungeon themes were all unique to the franchise, and although the themes rarely resurfaced in future installments ever again, it was still a well-done soundtrack. The game didn't have any of the iconic John Williams themes from the movies, which I guess makes perfect sense when you make a game based on a movie. However, it did interesting and unique things music-wise. The game did come out very late into the Nintendo's lifespan, which is why the music is so impressive. The composer knew how to push the limits of what the console could perform sound-wise. It's a fun soundtrack that you'd never guess was from a movie-licensed game, or Jurassic Park itself for that matter. This is yet another game soundtrack that really had nothing to do with football themes. In fact, most of the music is pretty kickin', with high energy, quick beats, and some are even super epic in tone. TECMO realized football would be better with overworld music. I dare say the game's soundtrack is on par with the Mega Man series. I mean, it goes almost perfectly. That's a pretty impressive feat, especially for a sports game. Go Browns! One of the most iconic games on the NES. It's widely known. However, the soundtrack alone is something to take notice of, considering how early in the lifespan of the Nintendo it came out, 1988. The beats and drums are enough to get your blood pumping in this notoriously challenging game. The amount of variety in its soundtrack is also very impressive, making sure you never get tired of any of the game's themes or tunes. The game may be great, but the music is even better. Most likely one of the first games you played on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Metroid released in 1986 and became an instant hit. However, the music stood out from other Nintendo titles. Gone are the happy, catchy tunes we were all used to. Instead, we were treated to a calm, eerie soundtrack that fits the tone of being alone in deep space. The game was able to convey a sense of solitude and suspense. Of course, not every track is scary or ominous. The Brimstar theme is very well done and will get you in the mood to shoot alien monstrosities. It's a game that has a ton of atmosphere, all thanks to the amazing music. Released in 1988, the game is known for being extremely hard, with a ton of trial and error. But thanks to the game's amazing soundtrack, it didn't seem like too much of a chore. Ninja Gaiden had a varied array of themes which kept each level sounding fresh. This is good because you'd be struggling on a level for a good long while, dying and learning the patterns. Again, only 3 years into the NES console's lifespan. It's really impressive the amount of usage the composer got out of this tiny machine. The Mega Man series has had some of the best music in video game history. However, its third installment was really able to take it to another level. New beats, themes, and an amazing title screen that, dare I say, is one of the best themes in the entire franchise. And who could forget that trolly game over screen music? Mega Man 3 was highly favored by our staff and chatty, and with its impressive tracks and memorable tunes, it's easy to see why.
That was fun, but now you're done, you're out of luck because you suck. You're not quite as good as everyone else who plays it. Don't continue, just give in, you silly boob, you f***ing noob. Just turn off the power and cry yourself to sleep, you pussy. You will never get ahead, you might be better off as dead.
Franchise known for its epic music, Castlevania 3 seems to be the peak of the series' music accomplishments. While past games may have introduced us to themes we know and love today, Castlevania 3 was able to go above and beyond. It carried itself with one of the most amazing soundtracks that accompanied you while on your way to defeat Dracula, or his curse rather. It's great to see the game's music evolve over the years. Castlevania 3's score is the pinnacle of the series' soundtrack, and also a community favorite. Another movie licensed game that of course didn't feature any of the movie's themes by Danny Elfman. However, it didn't need the movie's score. The game's soundtrack manages to hold its own even with its 11 short tracks. The music immediately sticks out as one of the game's strongest features, without having to lean on another composer's work. Batman for the NES stands on its own terms of great 8-bit music. If you've never heard its full soundtrack, you should definitely check it out. Granted, we live in a time where the member berry pie is strong, but there's no denying the pure bliss of the DUCKTALES soundtrack. The music goes far beyond the main theme of the 90s cartoon show, and opens up a multitude of beats and sounds that would hold their own without the throwback to the OG DUCKTALES theme. The Moon theme alone is a fantastic piece of music, but it's not just that one theme. It's the combination of every stage and screen. It just works flawlessly. I can't think of another NES game soundtrack that sounds so good, even 29 years later. Even the themes used in the remastered release have barely changed. It's seriously that good. What NES soundtracks did you guys like the best? Which ones did I miss? Let us know in the comments below. For more videos like this and everything else gaming related, you're already in the right place. You're on Shacknews.com.